Welcome to Cash Talk, the podcast where we delve into the depths of finance, business, and life itself. I'm your host, John Cachia, a multi-award-winning wealth advisor with a passion for empowering ambitious Australians to confidently achieve financial freedom. Hey everyone, before we get started, this is a quick reminder that everything in this podcast is of a general nature and nothing has been tailored to your personal circumstances. So please seek personal financial advice before acting on this information. Welcome back to Cash Talk, and today I'm once again joined by Anth. Anth, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Feeling pumped. Got a new fresh haircut. Yeah, I see you've got a bit of a mow happening there, mate. What's going on? Are you participating in Movember, or are you just trying to grow a mow for the first time? All jokes aside, I got him off course, but all good. Mate, today we're going to be talking about something that's really important to a lot of people, which is about cash flow. But he does have a cheeky mow, so I do want to know, where did that come from? Is it just like 2 day in, or what's going on there?
It's because I had a late night in the office yesterday. I forgot to shave.
Mate, working around the clock. Have a listen to him. Now, talking about cash flow, we want to discuss today about some good cash flow techniques that we're working with clients. We want to speak around the behaviors of cash flow and some of the habits that we're seeing as well too. So there's no better person to have than Anthony because we call him the cash flow guru here. But Anth, what are you seeing at the moment first and foremost in regards to people coming in before they come to work with us and maybe some problem areas that you're seeing at the moment?
Yeah, I think a lot of the interest rate rises and the cost of living has thrown a lot of people's cash flow out of whack. I think before, people were really easily being able to save without trying too hard, without really focusing on a budget. But now with the cost of living going up, groceries costing more every week, we got utilities and insurances costing more, and obviously rent and mortgages costing more too. People's cash flows are being squeezed, and they're starting to think, wow, we actually need to start to budget now because we're not moving anywhere. And there's a lot of stagnant people where cash flow, money's coming in and money's just coming out, and there's not really much left to be saved.
Are you seeing people come in with like any systems, or is it mainly that they're just earning, spending? They're trying, but have they given up? Like,
yeah.
What do you get?
There's usually two types of people. There's ones that just sort of, they just use that basic one account model, and money comes in, money comes out, and they're not really doing anything, not really trying. They don't know where to start. And then there are some people that do try to start, but they overcomplicate things and it doesn't work and they give up. So they're the two that I often see. And
I'm seeing as well too, Ans, when I'm speaking to people, I'm seeing people that have maybe even got a system, but it's not. They've got a system on paper, but it's not being executed on. Yeah, so it's like, we have an account for this, we have an account for that. They've got maybe some direct debits, but then they're really touching from another account, or they're touching from another account. So they've got good intentions, but it's just not being executed on. I kind of look at it like they've got the diet plan, but it's sitting on the kitchen table. It's not actually being adhered to.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, a lot of people don't execute the plan. They've got the budget. They know what their expenses are, but they don't really stick to it. They just sort of estimate, this is what we spend. And a lot of people, when they do a budget, they say, this is what we spend rather than this is what we should be spending. So a lot of overspending on certain areas where they don't need to be. And people don't refine their budgets. They don't sit back, have a look at, look, we're probably spending a little bit too much money here. Let's do something about it. They just keep flowing through until the problem gets too big.
I saw yesterday, actually, one of our lovely clients made a amazing comment on one of our Facebook posts around they've been working with us and they no longer look at the budgets or the spreadsheets, and they're actually living a much more fulfilled life, and their money is getting to work. And you probably know which client I'm talking about, and shout out because they're probably listening or watching to this one. But there's this bad kind of connotation with, I'm going to go see someone like at Thriving Wealth and they're going to restrict my life in this budget, in this regimented process. It's a bit of a myth, because once you've got a system in place, I believe, for me personally, it's actually much easier to live life because everything's happening in the background and I've only got to adhere to a few rules rather than not having any framework at all. Are you seeing that? And reflecting on that particular client, how have they got themselves from to there?
Yeah, 100%. Because what we do is, we're not so focused on the little ins and outs. We just want to have a look at, okay, this is how much we're spending on these different areas. This is how much money we need to allocate to these accounts for that. But, okay, if we're spending a little bit more on gas this month and a little bit less on electricity this month, and they even each other out, that's fine. It's not about line by line, okay, we need to stick to this exactly. Like, that's not how budgeting needs to work. It's, okay, we need to allocate this much to our bills. We need to make sure we're saving this much and allocating X amount for groceries, for example. And when we're doing that and we've got that system in place, when things come up like, okay, we get a bit of a pay rise now, we know how to easily allocate that towards our savings plan. And yes, let's say someone gets a pay rise, and this is what these clients have done over time. They've been earning more and more and more. Well, okay, we can allocate X amount to their spending, X amount to savings, because I want to reward our clients with, okay, they're earning more, they're doing a lot, they're doing well in their job and their career. I want to reward them by having a little bit of extra spending money, and that might be a little bit of day-to-day guilt-free spending, and then also a little bit more to holiday spending.
Well, that's interesting, Anth, because the myth is like a financial advisor just wants to make you more money, but it's beyond that, isn't it? It's really around not only making more money for our clients, it's really giving them the joy in life as well too. Like we have a big thing in Thriving Wealth about delivering 4 main currencies for our clients, not only trying to generate them more money, but also trying to give them back more time, also give more joy in their life, and also help them with their well-being in entirety. And these people, one of the comments that they made was like, they're living a much more joyful and fulfilled life. And I just heard it there, like the practicality around that. You're not just going, hey, listen, you've got a more of a pay rise, let's grab all this money and put it to investing or debts or whatnot. You're saying, no. This is what you want your life to look like from a time and a joy and a well-being perspective. And, you know, these guys are getting back more into fitness. They're very healthy people. They're enjoying. They had their wedding. It looked like an absolutely amazing wedding. It's really good that you're doing that, but I think there's a bit of a myth around, you know, how that practically works on a daily basis. And taking that out without your guidance, we tend to have the opposite happen, where the pay rise happens and it goes all towards lifestyle and nothing for tomorrow. But it sounds like with these particular clients, and I know a lot of your clients, it's that balance, getting that real good balance between achieving the life they want financially, but also from the other 3 areas in regards to time, joy, and health.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. It's all about the balance. It's about finding the right balance between what we need for now and what we need for the future, and making sure we're not. Yes, like there's going to be times where we spend a little bit more on things than other years, but it's about focusing on what means the most to you and our clients and what they want to achieve. Like some people love going on holidays. Some people don't care about holidays. Some people rather upgrade cars and whatever it is. So we need to dial it in and think, okay, what do you value the most? And then work out how do we achieve those goals and how do we make you live a fulfilled life? Because yeah, I think that's what we do. We do differently to a lot of people. We really focus on our clients living a fulfilled life, and it's a conversation that we have quite often to see what do they want to achieve outside the numbers as well. Some people want to be able to work less and spend more time with family and be able to travel more and these certain things. And it's about making sure these happen. And with the surplus cash flow that we have, where are we allocating that money to help that happen? Because it's not just about allocating money to holidays, for example. It's about how much we need to allocate to our investments to achieve our long-term goals as well. So cash flow really is sort of the main pillar when having a look at everything, because it's helping you achieve short-term and long-term goals. And how we allocate that money is going to determine the sort of the roadmap that we have ahead.
And I often refer to cash flow as oxygen. Yeah, if you don't have surplus cash flow, you feel like you're strangling. And when you've got a lot of cash flow, you feel like, full oxygen. And so making sure your cash flow is the heart of what you do, regardless if you're working or not working, that surplus cash flow is a requirement and needs to be nice and healthy. So it also goes into saying that, you can't be wasteful. I think one of the biggest things I heard from what you were saying is you're also not wasteful when you're setting up these cash flow plans. It's purposeful. There's incidentals that happen in life. That's life. That's not wasting, okay? But the money that these people earn, you're allocating towards those 4 currencies, the fulfillment, and also pushing them financially in the right area. And so, you've got to question yourself if you're listening to this or watching this around, how are you approaching your cash flow? Are you approaching it with the right behaviors, the right habits, the right intention? And then, how do you have an unemotional view to your cash flow to ensure that you're getting more, financially forward, but you're also improving, your fulfillment as well too. And so, Anth, I had a client, a prospective client, call me today, and they cancelled their meeting and they wanted to reschedule. And it was one of those ones where, oh, we're not in a financial position at the moment because we need to renovate our house. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this. We need to hold off your stuff until we've done all that. Now, I said to this person, that's never going to change. Like, there's always things going to come up. If it's the hot water system that breaks down, if it's the this that you need to do, there's always things that come up in your life. And, you know, she ended off with the conversation around, but like, you know, we also need to pay for you. Now, it's a very important thing that people need to kind of break through, that you're not going to improve unless you get someone else who's done this before you, yeah, and has done it multiple times and been successful in executing on this to improve your cash flow. And I had to explain to her that the only way that you're going to get out of this rut that you've been in for the last 4 or 5 years is to go to someone outside of your circle to push you through that. And these things that they're spending on, some were needs, some were wants. And then the impact of those needs, not just on their short-term cash flow, but what is the rippling effect for the education they want to have for their kids and whatnot. Now, Anthony, you probably see this all the time where people maybe want to hold off investing, or they maybe want to hold off even working with you. There's obviously some cash flow pain going on in the current economy, but you've got clients of all different walks of life in regards to income that are achieving their goals. For the people that are, not yet, what do you say to those people? And then conversely, for the people that are doing well, why are they doing well?
Yeah, I think it was like with people that keep trying to push it off, yeah, they never make that leap of faith. They're never gonna start. And like, for an example, renovations, like, people don't know how much they can afford to spend and how much they should spend now, and how they should fund that spending, whether it's taking on more debt or funding it through cash flow. And that's where we come into this, and this is why we're so important to help guide and make the decision that's not based on emotions, because when people are like that, it's always an emotional decision, and sometimes you need to step back or get a third party in there to help you make those decisions, not from an emotional point of view. So that's really important there.
And that impact, Anth, on them getting that wrong, you know, we're figuring out that the default position is most people then borrow, yeah? But what does that mean, like, in regards to the extra interest you're going to have?
Yeah,
you know, what is you going to be with your retirement? Like, that decision you're making now, 1 degree off course, and you're working for 10 years longer.
Exactly right. Like, you make the wrong decision, it's either going to mean you're working for a lot longer, you're not going to be able to do those things you want to do, like go on holidays, or you can't send your children to the school that you wanted to send them to because you've made a silly mistake down the track. And yes, like...
And it's a snowball. It's then becomes like one bad decision, next bad decision. It just means you're working harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And if you get it right and then you get better at it, life becomes easier. And then when you come to the cost or the fee you need to pay for someone to improve that 1 degree, after 2 to 3 years of doing this as an investment, and I would say if you're not looking to do something like this with, let's say, someone like us for 10 years, don't think about it for 10 seconds. But by year 2, year 3, year 4, that compounding of getting it right year on year on year, life becomes easier. These cash flow problems, these cash flow bottlenecks that you've been doing over and over and over and again, putting you back into the scenario that you're in right now, which is stuck, or you're in a scenario where you have so many different options, you don't know which way to go, so you just make an uneducated decision and go with one. You're just making your life a hell of a lot harder when it comes to money, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, like when you're doing these, like, compounding interest is usually our best friend when investing, but when making wrong decisions, it's just as
compound losses.
Yeah, just as powerful when you make those wrong decisions and how long that can affect you for. So yeah, really focusing on making those right decisions and getting the help that you need to do that. And yeah, I get it. It's not an easy decision. A lot of people hesitate because they're scared. Yeah, if you're scared, you just got to really say, okay, like, are we going to give it a shot, or are we always going to keep pushing it out? Because realistically, if you don't do it straight away and you keep second guessing yourself, you're never going to make that leap. So it's just like you just got to do it.
And just a little one just came to mind. You've been with me for nearly 7 years now. Yeah. How many clients that have been with us for 7 years are financially backwards? or in the same spot. I don't know one in 7 years that is now worse than when they started with us.
Oh, definitely not worse. And the only reason why someone would be worse is if they don't listen.
And then I would argue they wouldn't
be with us anymore. They wouldn't be with us anymore.
I'm gonna get you to think about that one, because I don't think there is.
No, you're right. There is not a client that's still with us from, let's say, over a 2-3 year period that have gone backwards. Because if you're here and you're going to listen and you're following the process, then there's no reason to go backwards, because we plan for everything. We make sure that you're sticking to the plan and moving forward. So yeah, exactly right.
Sounds good. Well, mate, I think that's been very, very insightful for people to understand how cash flow has an impact. But I also just want to kind of finish off to say, like, the biggest thing for you to do is be aware of your problems. Once you're aware of your problems, you then can fix them. And it's having a plan, and then not only having a plan, but executing on that plan, and then having an external party to make sure that you're making logical decisions along the way, and understanding how those decisions impact not just your short-term needs, but also your long-term needs as well too. So be sure to implement these. They're very, very good. We try to test them for many, many people and have amazing results. Hope you enjoy this episode, and if you're loving these episodes, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our podcast platforms as well too, and share it with your friends and family. That's what we're doing it all for. So thanks, Anth, and see you guys again next time. Cheers.
Thank you.